Welcome to Tea at Taxevity, where you get insights from insiders, our many clients and friends. I'm Pramod Sharma, your actuary at Taxevity. I help people transfer financial risks with life and health insurance. Our guest today is Doug Manuel. Doug, what do you do when you're not being interviewed?
I'm a scientist mostly in public health, and I'm also a family doctor.
We're talking about Project Big Life. What is it?
Project Big Life is a website where you can go and enter information about your living, and it will calculate your life expectancy and other health information.
Why do you say big life rather than say long life or healthy life?
I think it's just the way it came out. We had a friend who suggested it, and the biggest challenge when you're thinking of a name is whether there's a website available or not.
You're right.
And so I think there is a few different influences, but they're mostly sort of more happenstance than anything.
I do like the name though, because if it was something else, then you think you know what it means, but when it says Project Big Life, well, what is that? Like, it's not obvious. It almost draws you in more to figure out what it's all about.
Yeah, I think that we wanted to give that idea that you could just live a good life, and what would that take to live a good life?
Mm-hmm. When did Project Big Life start?
It began in 2012, and really the whole idea was how to make our research, we're researchers, how to make it meaningful for individuals. So we do mostly public health research, and we did a report called 7 More Years, and we estimated how healthy living would affect the life expectancy of all Ontarians. And we said, we realized that the models were actually quite robust for individuals. They had good predictive ability. So we said, let's make this research meaningful for individuals. And we created the website very quickly to coincide with the release of the report. We released the report, the reporters liked it, and so they wrote a story, and our servers crashed from overuse. And within half an hour, we had 50,000 users. And so we said, this is a great way to talk about research, a great way to engage people into their health. So we've continued it since.
Yeah, because what I like about the site, I guess there are a number of things, but I find the information is easy to understand. And I feel that it's written for me as a layperson rather than me as an actuary.
We've tried to make it accessible. It is definitely powered by a lot of research, but we've tried to make it quick to use and mostly intuitive measures of how it affects your health.
And what's your role?
I'm the principal investigator for most of the science that goes into that. So, we develop projects to examine how health affects your life. We get research funding for that, and that's my main role.
And where does the funding come from?
Most of the funding would come from health research institutes, like the Canadian Institute for Health Research funds a lot of the risk algorithms that go into it. I should say that the risk algorithms have specific purposes for health policy and planning, but we use those, that as secondary purpose, we make it accessible for people. So it's really, the institutes fund the research, and then we do a little bit extra work to make it accessible to people.
What does Project Big Life do that was not being done before?
I think there's probably two things. I think one thing is it focuses on healthy living. So, you can go to the web and find a calculator from a life insurance company, and it will ask a few questions. But we try to really focus on healthy living, meaning smoking, diet, exercise, and physical activity. Those would be the main focuses.
Mm-hmm. And that's in fact how I discovered the website. I was looking for a life expectancy calculator, and you've got a really good one.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel Project Big Life has achieved?
I think for us, it's made research and public health policy meaningful for people. So one of our catch terms in our team is all public policy, by definition, good public policy, you know how it affects yourself or your family. And so we use the same same science in Project Big Life to develop public policy about whether we should do more for preventing smoking or improving our food supply. And this lets you give you an idea about how that policy would affect you yourself.
What gets most used on your website?
There's the life expectancy calculator would be the most used. The sodium calculator is used quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I've been afraid to try the sodium calculator so far.
No, it's again, it will take you just a few minutes to get some insight. You maybe be surprised. Most people, when asked where their main sodium comes from, most people don't know where their main sodium comes from. I'll just give you that as a
oh, that's a nice
teaser,
hook.
as a teaser.
Okay. Yeah, because now that you say that, I guess I don't really know either.
Well, people think it's the salt shaker, or it's the salty chip.
That's what I'm thinking, and I don't add a lot of salt, and so I should probably be okay. But
I won't say anything more.
Okay, so to find out, we need to go to the website and figure things out. What are the challenges you're facing in Project Big Life?
I think the biggest challenge is blending science, making science easily accessible. So our temptation sometimes is to make it complicated, or long, or make it very detailed, and we try to make it really accessible. So trying to find that balance is tricky for us.
Mm-hmm. And I personally find that you're doing a pretty good job at finding that balance, because I also have that same issue that it's really easy to make things technical, but at the same time, if people can't understand what you're saying, it doesn't really help them.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to go in both directions, actually. I think we're going to try to make it easier and faster for people to give them information even more quickly with providing less information, at the same time providing more depth if people want it. So letting people explore more, and for the real keeners or the real interested people, tell them more information as well.
Okay, that sounds like a really good approach. What's your key message for the people watching today?
I would say I would have two messages. One is that you're probably going to live longer than you think. I think what we find is people underestimate how long they're going to live. And the second is I'm always impressed by how powerful what you do affects your life.
Can you give an example?
Well, I think that healthy living, people who are healthy in the four main areas, non-smokers, moderate drinking, eating their fruits and vegetables, and being physically active, 90% lower risk of heart disease than people that have all those characteristics, is profoundly influential on your health.
What's the best way for people to reach you?
There's contact information on the website, and we definitely like feedback. We have a mailing list, and if you want to participate in research or testing, feel free to join the mailing list too, and we'll put you on a list for getting their advanced copies and our beta testing and things like that.
I'm already on the list. And what's the web address?
The web address is www.projectbiglife.ca.
Thanks very much for dropping by.
My pleasure.